Welcome to the Fort Johnson podcast, your go-to source for everything that's happening in our vibrant community. I'm your host, and today we have a special episode dedicated to one of the season's most anticipated events, the library's summer reading program. Whether you're a bookworm or a casual reader or just looking for some fun activities to keep the kids entertained during the summer break, this program has something for everyone. We'll be diving into all the exciting details, hearing from our enthusiastic library technician, and sharing tips on making the most of this fantastic initiative. So grab your favorite book, settle in, and let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're watching this podcast, I am your host, Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office, and we are here in the Fort Johnson Public Affairs podcast studio. I got all kinds of words to say for that stuff. Today, we are going over the Summer Reading Program, or SRP, and I got in here Bryn. Bryn, how are you doing?
Great. Thanks
Bryn,
for having me.
That is Bryn Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk. No, you wouldn't remember. You wouldn't know that one. See, I'm a movie guy, not so much a reader guy.
That's fine. I'm also a cinephile. So you're in good company.
And yeah, I do. When I find a book that I like, I do read it, and I do like reading it. But a normal novel, maybe that thick, 200 pages, if it's just an average size book, will take me months to read it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the best books are shorter, like Of Mice and Men, and it's maybe 90 pages.
Of Mice and Men. I've heard of that.
It's by the same author that did Grapes of Wrath.
Those grapes were sour. And Of Mice and Men, I hear, is a book about mice and men.
And
Yeah.
Lenny, yes.
And trigonometry, a book about trigonometry. That one's really easy to figure it out because you just break it down into the little smaller words like trigger, that's a horse. And nom, well, that's French for name. And tree, we all know what that is. So trigonometry is a book about a French horse up a tree.
I wish. Math would have been so much easier that way.
So how long has the SRP's already started for this summer, hasn't it?
Yes. So the summer reading program officially started at the library on June 5th. And it goes until July 26th. But, we're only a couple weeks in. There's plenty of time still left to participate.
Absolutely.
So I don't think anyone should be worried about the time passing.
No. But you go until July 26th?
Correct. So reading
That's not
itself.
the end of summer.
No, but reading ends on July 26th, so we have a week to count up all the minutes that have been read, so we can give out prizes to like the top readers, the people that have maybe read the most amount of books, things like that. And then also a week later, we're going to have the summer reading program wrap-up party on July 31st. So we do need a little bit of time to prep for that. So that's why reading itself ends on July 26th. July 31st, we have the wrap-up party. People can continue picking up prizes for weeks afterwards, but we do have to cut people off for prizes.
Once that ending of thing, no more reading. For anyone.
No.
No more reading.
Reading that'll count towards prizes. Absolutely. We want people to read all year long, right? That's the point of the summer reading program, is to encourage people to read and fall in love with what they're reading.
Well, of course. The last book that I read was Ready Player 2.
Oh, did you like it?
I do. I mean, and the sad thing is, I love the movie. I didn't read the first book because the one thing I like about the movie over the book is it's over in 2 hours and there was no reading. No, I saw the movie. I love it. I love the movie. It's just something that interests me. And I love the second book. And all of these critics are out there saying how, it's bland and it's mediocre and it's just a bunch of, nostalgia and all this stuff. And it's like, well, I liked it.
I think it's entertaining. The special effects are great.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many Easter eggs. So
yes.
That's one of my favorite parts of films like that.
Did you see the one where it was during the race and they went past the movie theater and you saw what movie was playing?
No, what was it?
Slater 5. And that is from the Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Anyway. So what exactly is what are we talking with the SRP? The summer reading program is bottom line is it's read books. But for the program, what's the goal of the program?
So the summer reading program is entirely funded by the Department of Defense. It's free to all ages and anyone that has a library account. Like I mentioned earlier, the summer reading program is intended to encourages people to read, so that, hopefully they, learn something in the process and they develop a love of reading. That's the librarians. That's what we're most excited about is, connecting people with what they like to read. However, the summer reading program at its, if you wanted to point to one thing.
At its core.
Yeah. It encourages people to read by providing free events for them to attend and rewarding their reading by giving them prizes.
I am easily bribed. So.
I am too, so I get it.
I heard there would be cookies. So is it? So you were mentioning how how many you have to add up how many hours were read and how many books were read, and these are all different categories of or classification or parts of the SRP.
So, in order to earn prizes, participants must record the minutes that they read. So
mine would be hours because that's how long it takes.
Beanstack, the website that we used for this, will automatically convert them if you put your hours in. It'll convert them to minutes. But for every 300 minutes or 5 hours, if that's what you prefer, participants can earn a prize. So for the first 5 weeks of the program, they can earn a prize every single week. For the 6th week, they can be entered into a series of raffles. Actually, if it's okay with you, I brought some prizes.
She's got prizes for us.
I mean, it's show and tell, just like it's cool.
So there better be some kind of teddy bear with you too. So
of course.
Eventually.
It's the best reading partner. So pre-readers can, during the summer reading, one of the things that they can earn
Did you
is
say
a little
pre-readers?
Yes. Oh, I should explain that. So thank you for asking.
Absolutely.
So,
what's a pre-reader?
Pre-reader refers to 0 to 5 years of age. So typically those are people that are still learning to read, so that's why they're called pre-readers. And then children are typically 6 to 12, teens are typically 13 through 17, and adults are 18 plus. So the summer reading program itself is open to all ages, and we don't actually record the ages of participants, but we don't want to give like a prize for a 2-year-old to an adult. Or vice versa. So we do separate participants into age groups so that we give age-appropriate prizes.
Maybe we should separate them into maturity level. Because I could hang with the.
Are you kidding me? I would want one of these for gardening, absolutely. But I mean, the younger kids could also take this to like the splash park or the pool. You know what I mean? So this is one of the prizes. Exactly. So this is one of the pre-reader prizes, and then some other ones that I brought. So yes, there is a teddy bear. Yes, so he's so cute and fluffy. His name's actually Bruce the Bear.
He's got a monobrow.
He does. He's a teddy bear that's from a series of children's books, and he's an angry, grumpy bear. I think you'd like him.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, he's definitely like the equivalent of like the Scrooge in the storybook. But nevertheless, pre-readers and kids could earn Bruce the Bear throughout the summer reading program. And one of my favorite teen prizes actually is a solar-powered phone charger.
Ooh.
I think it's really cool.
That one looks like it's got a little charge on there.
Yeah. Honestly, it's great. And I want one for like hiking and fishing, things like that. It would be great for outdoor activities.
And how many books do you have to read to get that? Or do you have to be the top reader?
No. So all the prizes that I have shown you so far, readers can automatically earn as long as they have read 300 minutes for that week.
In a week? Mm-hmm. 300 minutes in a week?
We don't cut them off. So if it takes you 2 weeks or 3 weeks to read that first 300 minutes, you can still come pick it up. It's just each week kind of has a theme. So for instance, if someone, after watching this, right, went to allenmemorial.beanstack.org to register for the summer reading program, and they read 600 minutes between today and the next day, they could come in at that time to pick up their first 2 prizes. We never cut them off. We just, for the ease of handing out prizes, there's a prize for each specific week.
Yeah, I think I'd be. I think it would take me pretty much all summer to read the 300 minutes.
That's okay. You'd still earn that prize by the end of the program.
And I'd be lucky if that was one book. If it's like chapter 1.
Sometimes the chapters are pretty long. Again, so that's why we're only concerned with the minutes read, because, participants are not required to record books, the book titles or authors, or even the type of books. They can read whatever they want. So if you spend all summer reading that book, as long as you're recording the minutes read, it all counts. But also, if, for instance, if you only like reading non-fictional self-help books, that's totally okay too. Or if you want to read a book about the history of cinema, or maybe one about...
instructions on how to put together a stereo cabinet.
from IKEA or something. I wouldn't recommend it. Those aren't easy to read, but technically it would count. But anyway, participants can read any type of material. So if they want to read picture books, chapter books, if they want to read graphic novels, comic books, if they're reading ebooks, listening to audiobooks, if actually, like I have a lot of siblings. So if my siblings were here in person and I was reading to them, that reading time would count for me as well as them. And if you attend the story time at the library, that also counts. That 30 minutes of reading, you can log it for your summer reading program too.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Nice. And apparently they don't have to be books from Allen Memorial, do they?
No. Although we've got 61,000 items in our collection, so there's plenty of books to check out.
Do you have what about audiobooks? Would those count?
We do. So we have audiobooks on CDs and e-audiobooks that you can download from databases like Libby for free with your library account. So all of that counts. And if you have any questions, you can stop by the library or call us.
That's very cool. Now will the audiobooks, will those count towards reading?
Absolutely. Again,
really?
Yes, any type of reading. It all counts. All we're concerned about is that you are reading during the summer and that you are recording the minutes that you read through Beanstack. As long as you're doing that, they will count towards your reading goals, and you will earn your reading prizes.
And after we register on Beanstalk, is Jack going to come get us?
No.
That's Jack and the Beanstalk.
I know.
It's a book.
No giants are going to chase after you.
Well, that also means no golden goose or the goose that laid the golden eggs.
No, but the golden eggs, the equivalent of that during the summer reading program, are all the prizes that you can earn.
So we got the books going, and what's the latest book that you've read?
Ooh, I'm currently rereading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and
Can you read music?
No, absolutely not.
The Song of Achilles.
I know it's.
See, sometimes you have to lead the guest on what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, sometimes you have to use a hammer with me. So, no, but I'm currently rereading The Song of Achilles, and actually one of my coworkers also recommended that I read The Assistant to the Villain. So I'm very slowly making my way through it. But all our participants, I am reading during the summer.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And what's your favorite type of book?
I typically prefer fictional materials. Although I have been known to read nonfiction materials if they're on less covered subjects or they have really interesting perspective. So one of my favorite nonfiction books that I ever read was called Stoned, and I've also read Salt: A World History.
I take it that's on mining salt and getting salt from the ocean.
Yeah, it's chocked full of trivia facts.
So, that's my kind of book. I like trivia. I'm a trivia kind of guy.
But I also read a lot of graphic novels and mangas. So again, all of those materials count for the summer reading program. So.
Oh, wasn't the Walking Dead a graphic novel?
It is, yes.
See, I keep up a little bit. I mean, I hear that books are things with papers in them and stuff.
Yeah, so the same author and artist that wrote the Walking Dead series, he also wrote the comics for the Invincible series, which was recently adapted into a television show too.
Ooh, the Invincibles. Wasn't that the one with Sean Connery and?
No, sorry.
Those were the Untouchables.
Yeah, so Invincible, that's the comic series.
Oh, that was the one with the little baby that would change into flames. And that was the Incredibles. Yeah. Oh, so I'll get there.
It's all good. It's all good.
So no, I like. Excuse me. I like the science fiction books. When I was younger, I was able to read the Star Trek books, and the Star Wars books, and then the Ready Player 2, and for a little while I was reading the military. The war books, like John Clancy and stuff like that. And there was this one I remember, and it was so funny because when I start reading these books, I read a little bit or I'll read a bunch and then lay it down for a while and not pick it up. And it always happens. The same thing happens to me all the time. I start thinking, what was that movie that I was watching? And it had this and this and this and this, and then it turns out it's the book I'm reading. And it's like, wait a minute. There's no pictures in this book. How? So I guess Geordie LaForge actually got me going on that Reading Rainbow thing.
Absolutely.
You could be anything you want to be. Right? Yeah, whatever. See, I'm gonna have now the song's stuck in my head. Well, I don't even know if it's going to be stuck in my head because I don't remember the words. So, how long have you been enjoying reading just as recreation? Because I know everyone has to read in school, and it's not always the funnest thing when you're forced to read like boring books, like a elementary school social studies book that was perfect to beat insomnia. But now when you get to read books you like, how long have you been doing that?
So I actually didn't become a reader until much later than others.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was in elementary school, because I had grown up moving around so much, I actually really struggled to learn how to read. I was several classes behind a lot of my classmates, so I actually had to receive like one-on-one peer tutoring to learn how to read for the beginning of elementary school. So I didn't really learn how to read and actually become excited about it until the end of middle school. And actually one of the reasons that I got really excited about it was one of my public librarians. She was one of the first people to really encourage me that I could read whatever I wanted to. I didn't have to read, like you reference school required reading lists.
Yes.
I hated reading, not
Absolutely.
only because I struggled with it, early on, but also because I didn't really like what we read in class. It was a chore. I had to force myself to complete that assignment. And so I actually became really bitter, and I never wanted to read outside of class, But she was one of the first people to really say, that's okay. I just want you to read, and whatever you end up reading, if you enjoy it, that's all that matters. And so that was really, she was the first person to really tell me that was okay. And so I ended up looking for materials that were never going to be featured on a class reading list, but made me excited, And so it took a little bit, but I ended up finding, the niche. Like I said, I read a lot of fiction. I read a lot of graphic novels. And that's what makes me excited, So I think that's one of the reasons that in the summer reading program, only thing we track our minutes is because we don't want to force people to read books on certain genres or on certain subjects. We want them to find what makes them excited to read. And again, that's another reason, that you can listen to audiobooks and other things like that.
So in this case, it's quantity over quality. Well, not quality, but quantity over subject.
I don't like saying that because there's judgment implied there with the word quality.
Everybody always judges me. That's what it is. That's all it's all about. No, it's like
No, we don't want to judge you. I don't want to be judged. I don't want others to be judged for what they're reading. So yes. Cool.
Oh no, don't judge me for what I'm reading. Okay, here's a good one. I got a good one. I'm gonna see if I can stump you on some of these. What is the earliest book that you remember? And it goes back to kindergarten, whatever, being read to. The first book that was read to you that you remember that you liked the best.
So one of the earliest books that I remember reading was Touching Spirit Bear. It's very similar to Hatchet, if you've ever heard of that one by Gary Paulson. It's also like an outdoor adventure series intended for like juvenile readers. It was absolutely brutal. It's about a boy who gets in trouble with the law, and as part of trying to reform him, basically he's abandoned on this island and he has to survive on his own, and the only company that he has is a bear. But I loved it. Like, that's one of the first books that I remember really liking in middle school. I thought it was inspirational. I learned a lot about how to survive outdoors, and The Outsiders, also by S.E. Hinton. Like, I remember that, and I was like, oh, I love Pony Boy, like Stay Golden, like all of that stuff. I remember being really excited, but if you were asking about books that I remember before then, I really can't remember. I mean, my dad says he read me Goodnight Gorilla every night growing up, but I don't remember that.
Goodnight Gorilla.
Uh-huh.
Never heard of it.
So it's a board book, one of those cardboard books for babies. And it's about a mischievous gorilla that waits for the zookeepers to go to bed at night. And then he takes the keys and he lets out every single animal from the zoo. It's really funny. They have a party, of course.
He's a cheesy local monkey.
He's a good friend. He didn't want them to be alone.
The first one, or the earliest book I remember enjoying, is The Hungry Caterpillar. And I can still see, the book cover with green with the caterpillar on there, and all the things he ate, and also Where the Wild Things Are.
Also great.
See, those are childhood books that those are the ones I remember. And I remember my grandpa Jack reading me Yertle the Turtle every time. And I'm sure there's a picture of him reading me that book somewhere.
I think it's called the Butter Battle Book, also by Dr. Seuss. That was my favorite.
The Butter Battle Book.
Yeah, if I'm getting the alliteration right.
Did they battle with butter, or did they battle for butter?
So similar to Yertle the Turtle, right? That is inspired, like Dr. Seuss, right? He started off as a political cartoonist, so it's really a satire of Adolf Hitler in World War II. The Butter Battle Book is inspired by the Cold War. So you have two groups of people over a wall that are throwing butter back and forth in order to basically dirty up each other's towns.
Well, then that seems like a battle for a better butter. So if you get the better butter, then you can battle better.
You're doing very well at this. Yes. You want to come for story time and read a Dr. Seuss book?
Well, I did. I have thought about coming over and doing the reading program for the kids. But
we'd love to have you.
I'd probably put them to sleep. It's like nap time with Jeff.
No, you've got a really good voice, and it's energetic. That's what we need. We need those from special guests.
Well, but it does sound funny. I have thought about it, but I'm just so busy.
That's fair.
I'm just so busy.
That's fair.
So, what would it be like? Well, how long have you been working at the library?
So I will have been working for the Army Libraries program for 3 years this January.
All at Allen Memorial Library.
Yeah.
And how long has the program been going on, or that you know of?
The summer reading program itself?
Yes.
So I've been involved with the summer reading program for, since I started, so for 3 years. To my knowledge, though, it's been happening for at least 10, probably longer than that, because it's one of the most important initiatives that the Army Library programs is a part of. And like I said, it's funded by the Department of Defense. So I don't know of a time when it wasn't being held.
That's cool. I mean, and you've already got over 200 people signed up already, right?
Yeah, we have 261 participants as of this morning.
Wow.
And I'm really, really proud of that number because that's already more than we had last year for the summer reading program participants.
Wow.
And this year for the kickoff party, we had 105 people attend our kickoff party with Smokey Bear. That was double the amount that we had for last year's kickoff party. So we're improving every year, and I'm really excited to see, how this summer reading program continues, how it finishes. We're off to a great start.
Yeah, it sounds great. So go out there, go to jackandthebeanstalk.com. And
No, so if you have any questions about the summer reading program, if you want to register, or if you want to learn about any of the free events that you can also attend, you should go to allenmemorial.beanstack, beanstack.com.
Oh, it's a stack of beans now. Oh, I thought it was a stalk.
No, sorry. Alternatively, they can people can also stop by the library in person to register.
That's probably the best. That way they can pick up a book while they're there.
Exactly. So the Allen Memorial Library is in the same building as the Education Center. We are also next door to Dunkin' Donuts and the Splash Park. So we're at 7460 Colorado Avenue, building 660. If for some reason you can't find us, or if you would rather just call us over the phone, you can call us at 337-531-2665.
2665, huh? Or you guys can go over and look for it. It's right there. It's down the street from the PX in the commissary.
If you come in person to the library, we can talk more about the summer reading program, or we can give you a tour of the library itself, its collections, things like that.
So from what I hear, the largest library we have is the Library of Congress.
It is. The Library of Congress is the largest library in the world.
In the world. Mm-hmm. And it can all fit on a single DVD. A Blu-ray, maybe. I don't know.
One of the reasons that the Library of Congress is the largest library is because they not only have copies of literary materials, like books, but they also have historical archives, they have artifacts, things like that. So they have a very extensive collection.
But do they have all the tax laws in books? Because I don't
know about that.
What was the movie? The Day After Tomorrow? Yeah, The Day After Tomorrow, when they had everything was freezing and stuff like that.
They burned all the books to stay alive. Yeah, I think they were in the New York Public Library for that one. Yeah,
yes, the New York Public Library. There's a whole thing of tax law right back here. Burn it all.
I would also be tempted to burn that first.
Yeah, but hey, it is what it is, and we got. But the reading, reading is fundamental. Hey, look at that. Reading is fundamental. What books are you currently in the middle of a book right now?
Yeah, like I said, I'm rereading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller.
That's the one. See, I've got the attention span of a gnat.
That's okay. I get distracted very easily. Like, have you seen Up?
Yes, I have.
Doug's squirrel thing? That's me.
Get a little collar and stuff. I'm back on time. No, so what books are you looking forward to reading?
Ooh.
See, I always get at least one in here where it's a little more difficult. Makes you think.
I know. I can't point to one. I mean, I have over 500 books on my want to read list. Like the joke at the library is death by TBR, your to be read list. So I can't point to one particular one, but
your TBR list is going to just change into a bucket list, and
I know, and it's. I'm never going to get through it. I'm constantly adding things to my.
I'll tell you what. Just go read Ready Player 2. It's an easy read.
I would need to start with Ready Player 1. I haven't read the first one.
You haven't read the first one? It's a little different from the. It's a little different from the movie because the movie. Well, the things in the book, like one of the contests that they had to win was a perfect game of Pac-Man, and that wouldn't make for good movie. So they changed it to something else, and it's but it was pretty good. And then the same hero or whatever, one of the characters, one of the high five actually died, was killed, whereas in the movie they don't.
Yeah.
So, but I loved part 2. I mean, I wish it would kind of come true, almost. Anyway, Bryn, it's been wonderful having you here.
Yes, thank you for
Thank
inviting
you for all
me.
the info. And please come back again. We'll do this again next summer.
I'd love to.
All right. And I am Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office. Thanks for tuning in. And please, if you have any ideas or if you'd like to see a subject on our show, feel free to contact us at the Public Affairs Office. And also be sure to subscribe and hit that notify button. But until then, we will be listening at you later.
That was easy.